So what I'm going to do in today's video is take you through an example of what's possible with today's SAP Business One. Now, for a lot of people, artificial intelligence is quite a hot topic. Everyone's talking about it. You can't pick up a newspaper or a magazine or go onto a website or look at a vendor's product information without them talking about artificial intelligence. And so a lot of people are thinking, well, how do I manage to incorporate artificial intelligence with SAP Business One? And what are the components that I need, and do I have to buy something new, and so on and so forth. So what Moshe Nachman and I did was we sat down, and Moshe primarily has built a demonstration showing you what is possible with SAP Business One today. So I am going to be using SAP Business One, and this is actually Service Pack 2311, and we're going to be demonstrating it on SQL, and I'm going to be showing you a scenario built utilizing Microsoft Copilot Studio, using OpenAI, and then utilizing the currently available features in SAP Business One, the web client, the service layer, and the API gateway, and show you a sales scenario here that is quite a common scenario that I think many of you will have encountered, certainly if not in your own businesses, but in the businesses of the customers that you work with. So let's go. So I'm going to start off, all of this is running live, and this is running from our SMB Solutions Cloud Services data center in Germany. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to launch my web client. And so the web client's going to launch, and I'm going to be using just a standard SAP Business One demo database. Now, what we've done is we have built what we're calling the SAP Business One Sales Assistant. And the beauty of these kind of artificial intelligence applications, whether they're bots or they're standalone apps or whatever, call them what you will, is that the idea is that you can deploy them through a number of different channels. So I'm going to show you exactly the same functionality delivered out through a number of these different channels. So again, I'm using the web client, so I'm going to sign in, going to pick my demo database for Germany. So here we are in our web client, and for those of you who are familiar with the web client, you know that there is a capability to build what are called extensions. So if I click here and I go and I look at my extensions, you'll see I actually have an extension here called the Sales Assistant. So what this is an extension which is called a UI mashup, or a URL mashup, sorry. And so the idea behind this is from within the SAP Business One web client, I have built a link through to a website. And in this case, the website is the SMB Solutions website. So this exact same functionality, not only do I launch it, or can I launch it from within inside SAP Business One, but I can also go straight onto the SAP Business One website for SMB Solutions, and I can launch it from there. So the first thing it's going to want me to do is going to want me to log in and authenticate myself. So right now it's using Azure Active Directory authentication to do a single sign-on in the background, and it's going to generate a token for me that I then need to take that token and provide it back into the application to confirm that I am actually who I say I am. So I'm going to grab that token, bring it back to the Sales Assistant, and I'm going to paste the token back in here. And so now I'm authenticated, and you'll see that the application opens up. So it says, "Hi, I'm your Business One Sales Copilot. I'm here to perform sales-related operations." So in this case, what we're going to do is you're going to see the natural language functionality that's being utilized here as part of the AI stack from OpenAI and the Microsoft Copilot Studio. So I'm going to go in here. I'm just going to say, what is the current stock level of item code A00001. So now the system is interpreting what I've asked for. It's constructing a query back in through the service layer, and it's sending that into SAP Business One. and it's retrieving the information that I want. Now, this is the first time it's run it, so it's establishing the connection for the very first time. And then you can see what it's done is it's brought that information back for me in what's called an adaptive card, which is a nice way of presenting the information. So you can see it's come back and said, okay, well, here's A00001, and it's showing me the available stock in each one of my warehouses. And I've got this in 5 warehouses. So then it says, well, what's the next logical thing to do? Well, let's create a sales order. So I simply click on create sales order, and I go C20123, because that's the customer who wants it. And they want the A00001, and they've decided they want 10 of them. So now I can create a sales order. So I'm going to show you another scenario in a second where we're going to do exactly the same thing in Teams. So then imagine if you're a sales rep who's out on the road and all you've got is your mobile device and Teams, you can actually talk to your SAP Business One system through Teams. Now, the interface is slightly different and the functionality is slightly different between Teams and this URL mashup that we're looking at here. But you can see it's come back and it said, hey, the sales order creation was a success. And I can click to view the record. And what it's going to do, it's going to take me back into the SAP Business One web client, and it's going to retrieve that sales order for me. So you can see there's my sales order. It's been created. It's a status that it's open. I can see that it's for PC Welt. And if I go in here to the contents, you can see there's my product. It's A00001, and I've got 10 of them. So that's exactly what I want. So then I come back here to the sales assistant, and it's now saying, well, the next obvious thing to do is to create an AR invoice. Do I want to do that? I'm going to say yes. And so now, again, being pushed back through the service layer, it's automatically taking that sales order and it's turning it into an invoice. And then when the invoice is created, what it's then going to ask me to do is it's going to say, hey, do you now want this invoice to be presented to you? The Crystal Reports based invoice layout, do you want it to be presented to you in SharePoint? So if I go back here and I click to view the record again, you'll now see that the record is closed, and I can go in here to the relationship map, and you can see that there's the sales order that I created, and there's the AR invoice 1065 that the system automatically created for me. I come back to my sales assistant, I say I want to download the sales invoice, and now it's utilizing the Office 365 integration with SAP Business One. It's utilizing what's called the API Gateway, which is a way of programmatically generating any Crystal Report or Crystal Report based layout from SAP Business One and presenting it up to the user. And there it is. There is my sales invoice 1065, and it's ready to go. So now I can go and I can download that, I can email it to the customer or whatever the case may be. So a very simple example, but you can extrapolate that out to all kinds of different scenarios. And Moshi can, if you reach out to him, he can explain to you how this can be expanded and extended very, very simply and easily, with a little bit of guidance on what it is that exactly the scenarios that you or your customer is looking to try and achieve. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and show you, just for the sake of the example, exactly the same process using Microsoft Teams. And so I've come in here to Teams, and now I've gone into my SAP Sales Assistant, which is here. It's one of my apps that has been built and published for my organization. And I've come in and I've asked it exactly the same question. What is the available stock of item code A00001? And I've now got 1,384, because remember, I just sold 10. So then it says, what do I want to do? Do I want to create a sales order? So I'll say yes, create a sales order. And now I do the same thing, C2023, and the item code is A00001. My order quantity, this time I'm just going to order 5, and I'm going to create my sales order. So again, functionality is then going back and it's telling me, hey, the order number 1235 was successfully created. It's asking me, do I want to create an invoice? I'll say yes, please generate an invoice. Now, in this scenario, we're actually using Teams, so we're not triggering or giving you the option to drill in the web client to see the document, but I can go still, and from here I can download the invoice, and then up it comes again using SharePoint and the Microsoft 365 integration with SAP Business One, and also again the API gateway, and now you'll see it's invoice number 1065. I have my multifunction printer, my A00001. I've ordered 5 of them, and so now I've got my new invoice and we're ready to go, and it's based on sales order 1235. So again, you can come back here into your Teams chat and you can see there it is. Order number 1235 was the one that was created. There's the invoice. So, and just for the sake of completeness, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to www.smbsolutions.com.au. So this is our website for SAP Solutions Cloud Services. We are the cloud provider that's hosting all this capability from our data center. We've got data centers in Germany, in Australia, and very, very shortly in the United States. In June, we'll be opening up in the US in Los Angeles. So I can come in here into our website, for example, and I'm going to come down the bottom and I'm going to do a search. So I've got my AI demo I'm going to search for. And here it is. Here's the SAP Business One AI demo. So this is actually the web page that's on this site, built with WordPress, utilizing all that functionality. This is the web page that we've used in our mashup. All right. So you'll see it's exactly the same functionality, exactly the same scenario. It's just the bot is embedded here inside the web page. So you can see in a web page, in the SAP Business One web client, and then of course in Microsoft Teams as well. So I'm going to hand over to Moshe, and he's going to show you one other thing that he's been working on to help you work with SAP Business One and queries using artificial intelligence.
Thank you so much, Richard, and welcome again to another demo. I think what I'm about to cover appeals to pretty much every user who uses not only SAP Business One, but any ERP. We live in a world where ChatGPT is widely used, but we all know that when we converse with ChatGPT, having a vast knowledge in pretty much any topic that we can imagine, it doesn't really have any awareness over our organizational data, and sometimes we want to be able to leverage those sophisticated and powerful AI services residing on the Azure OpenAI Studio and Azure OpenAI, and also OpenAI API. And to enable users to use a native language, a natural processing language, aka NPL, to query databases. And so we can do that. We can do that also with SAP Business One. So what I'm about to show you is basically a short demo that demonstrates how we can leverage those AI capabilities and engines to basically turn any natural processing language into SQL queries that hit the database and retrieve information to any channel. In this case, we're using Teams, but it could be used for many other channels as well. And I think that this is a pretty powerful demonstration of what AI could, what we can achieve with AI, and I think that this is just the tip of the iceberg. So let's just go ahead and start our demo. So Just like Richard, we're going to stay within, we're still living in the Teams area. We're just using a different bot. So what I'm about to do is I'm just going to go ahead and type a prompt. So I'm going to say, please list all the sales orders that got dropped in the past 7 days. And I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to go to the chat. I'm going to see that my bot is actually doing its magics behind the scenes, and we're going to just let it be for a few seconds until we get a response. And we do get a response, and look what we got. We got a rendered, a deserialized response where we can see all the document entries and the doc date and the doc num, which are relevant fields. They're part of the table schema, ORDR, for those of us who know the sales order table. And not only that, it also presents the SQL query that was used to pull that information. So I can basically take that SQL query, I can copy it, and then I can go to my Business One database and I can use it to see what I'm getting. And you can see that I'm actually getting the same results that I got in Teams. So we're looking at the document entry, we're looking at the posting date, we're looking at the document number, and if we go again, we can see that we got the same result here. So this is a pretty cool thing that shows that without even knowing how to code with SQL, we can still achieve major results by just using native language. So I can just go ahead and extend that scenario. I can do something else. I can also say, for example, thank you. Let's thank our bot. Thank you. Please also pull the total amount of the sales orders dropped in the past 7 days. So I'm gonna let it do its thing. And look what I got. I got a result. I never, by the way, mapped that column. So the AI knows what I'm trying to do, and it creates a custom column for me showing me the total amount of the orders that got dropped in this past 7 days. And I can even see the query that it generated for me. So I can go again to SAP Business One. I can inject that query here and execute it, and I can see that the total amount. Of course, I can go ahead and narrow down the query and actually check. You'll have to take a leap of faith and believe me that this works. But of course, you can also verify that and do some more sanity checks. But that gives me the total amount. So it's not only showing information, it's also allowing me to perform complex queries that also do aggregation and also calculations. So I can do something else. Let's try to say, wow, great. So please also pull the total amount sorted out in a descending order for the orders got dropped in the past 3 days. Okay, that was a little bit long, but I'm just showing you, actually testing it right now with you to see that whatever prompt I'm using, it's still being rendered properly and understood by the AI mechanism. So let's see if that works. And look what we did. I mean, we did get a response. We got a response. So these are the orders when they're being sorted out in a descending order. Okay, and I have that SQL query here that I can also take, and we can see that there is a column that says total amount, and this is probably it here. So we can see that those orders got dropped in the past 3 days because we can go ahead and to SAP Business One and even check that. So we can go to SAP Business One, and to see, we can just go to the last records, and we do have that order. Let's see if that this is the order that we're intending. So we have that 1197 and 1196. So it really doesn't pay attention to a closed or an open order, but it still shows me the order. So I have that order. That total here is 6361. Let's see, 5346. Actually, it's taking the total before discount, so it's showing me this one, and I can go another record, and I can see that the other one is 132, which is exactly what I'm seeing here. So look at that complex query. Look how complicated that query is, and this is only coming from native language. So people who with no background with SQL queries whatsoever can use that mechanism in order to grab information from SAP. And of course, we can enable support for all the tables and basically map the schemas of the tables. We can do it either dynamically, or we can do it in a static way. We can also maintain security by restricting this to certain user groups. So there's a lot of things that we can do also to restrict, if you want to restrict the information in the organization. But this is just a good example that shows us what could be done with those amazing AI capabilities. And we can also, of course, use external apps and third-party applications to chat with our data. But in this case, I'm actually talking to an SAP system within Teams using only natural processing language. And I think that there's a lot to see in the future if we only manage to focus on these capabilities and streamline processes within organizations. So thank you very much for watching, and I wish you very good luck with your AI journey. So take care. Bye-bye.